Let's go to Shay in Pittsburgh. What's up, Shay?
Hi, Dr. John. Right off the bat, please know I'm a super nerd, and I've condensed this complicated issue into several grouped bullet points that I'm going to try to get through as quickly as possible because I'd really rather hear your voice.
Well, thank you for being a super nerd in our super nerd gang. That's super cool.
Well, your latest book is life-changing, and every night I ask one question to my daughter from your human teen cards and have some amazing conversations. I'm going to jump into my question right now because I know compliments make you awkward. So how can...
Everything makes me awkward, Shay. Everything. All right, let's do it.
How can my husband and I start working towards having a crazy, fabulous sex life when we're both prisoners of our own mind and past and currently only engage in obligatory sex once every few months? And okay, so here come my detail bullets.
All right, let's do it.
My husband and his siblings were horrifically, physically, and sexually abused by a monster who was also his biological father. My husband says he has no sexual desire. However, as time goes on, I think he really does. It's just he's never been in love before. He's never had a loving relationship, and sex has always just meant abuse and hate. Oddly enough, the more we talk about this, the more uncomfortable I feel initiating because I'm learning more and more how uncomfortable he is with sex. And selfishly, I hate to initiate because it makes me feel ugly and like a big old man. And no matter how many times my husband reassures me he loves me and finds me attractive, it's just his actions are speaking louder than his words. Now, Jenna says I have to include these historical bullets. I'm sorry. I'm going as fast as I can.
Hey, hold on 1 second. Take a big deep breath.
Okay. I'm trying to read these like a secretary, like it's not my own issue, so I don't break out.
No, I know. You're very courageous, and I can hear you hanging in there, and so thank you. Take your time. I'm in no rush. I don't have anything else going on today. I'm just a dumb old YouTuber, so I'm good.
Well, my husband and I, we met in kindergarten. We're friends forever. Lost touch. We reconnected 30 years later. We married and moved in together 6 years ago. After we had both gone through a divorce, we both had 3 children, and we each had one minor child still left at home. We each had one daughter, both the same age. For the first 4 years of our marriage, he would live with us for 10 days and then travel 5 hours up north to stay 4 days with his minor daughter for his visitation. 2 years ago, his teenage daughter started going off the rails, and we had to have a come to Jesus moment. I don't know if I can say that, but we had to have a very difficult talk, and we made the decision that he needed to move back up north until both of our girls graduate, which is, thank God, only 279 days from today. So,
not that you're counting, right?
Right. The past 2 years, we only see each other 2, sometimes 4 to 5 days every month. You had a very similar call a while ago with a man. The roles were reversed, and you recommended him read the book Come As You Are. By the way, I can't ever get that book cover image out of my head. Thanks for that. I started reading it, but Dr. John, I had to stop because it just seemed so focused on the female who was having trouble with sex. And I just found it very hard to translate because there just seems to be something uniquely cruel about the female in the relationship not getting any. I could talk forever about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do we start having...
Let me catch you there. That book is written to women about women. And so I actually take that book out of context when I recommend men read it. And so, yes, you're like it's overwhelmingly female because it's Dr. Nagoski wrote it to women, right? It's a letter to women. I've just found it super helpful for entertaining the conversation. Anyway, it's mind broadening for men and women. But I do get your point. But that was actually the point of it. But okay, go ahead.
Yeah. And so that's it. I've never taught, this is the first time I'm telling anybody this other than my husband. And so I figured I'd start by telling Dr. John, Jenna, Kelly, and your mom.
Awesome.
And so how do we start having a crazy, awesome sex life? And of course, I mean my husband and me.
Of course.
And yes, please be as direct and honest with me as you can. Hit me where it hurts.
No.
Go ahead.
There's nothing to hurt here. I'm heartbroken here with you. You told me a lot about your husband. You told me a lot about his past. You told me a lot about his daughter. You told me a lot about some hard decisions y'all have had to make in your marriage, which is going to be better generationally and long term and all that. You've never told me what you want. What do you need? What do you feel? What's going on with you? And hey, you've never said these words out loud before, and you are someone who loves your husband and probably have taken on partly a maternal role for him because you want to protect him from getting hurt again like his evil father did. And when you think, I really want this, or if y'all are about to have sex, and even if it's just like y'all are about to have sex and it's just get off sex, right? It's just married couple, let's just do this sex. And he quits, like you get angry and then you feel guilty for getting angry, or you get frustrated and you get angry for getting frustrated, right? So for the first time, what do you actually need? What do you want?
I need that physical connection with him. It's like our marriage just is so, he is the perfect man for me, and I am the perfect woman for him. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and this is the only piece of our marriage that needs help.
But it's a big piece.
It is. And now it's getting to the point, when I know he's coming home or when I go up there, it's awesome. And I'm so excited, but it's getting to the point now where it's so stressful. Like, okay, am I going? Now when I initiate, he never stops me, and, things are mechanical, whatever. And I want him to come on to me.
Right.
Like I've actually cut myself off kind of socially from two of my girlfriends I have, both who used to be close with me, because we used to talk about, women say things to each other like, oh, your hubby's coming into town. I'm so excited. You're going to get lucky.
Right.
And then they complain about their marriages and how annoying it is that their husbands are constantly coming on to them. And I just want to punch them in the face, and I don't. But
okay, so let me back all the way out here. When y'all first got married, was it hot and heavy, or has it always been stilted and awkward?
It seemed to be hot and heavy in the beginning.
Okay.
And then as we started learning more about each other and he started opening up more, I started becoming more worried.
There you go.
Because I kept learning.
So let me stop you right there. Okay. You said earlier on that he maybe had never been in love before, and he's absolutely been in love before. He's probably had very few moments in his life when his body felt truly safe.
Yes.
And he has a radar system on his body for a lack of safety or for tension or for not with me or for using me that you and I could never understand. It is a fine-tuned NASA-built radar system. And so he finds you and he's perfect for you and you're perfect for him. And then he starts opening up and his body says, I'm safe with this one. It's never been safe and it's safe with this one. And the more you learn, the more your body starts feeling awkward or a little bit weird, or maybe just absolutely, and I know we're not allowed to say this out loud, absolutely revolted, disgusting. You know what I mean? And it's hard. And then all of a sudden, like your sexual desire gets tangled up in his abuse. The whole thing just gets to be a mess. And then you stop talking a little bit, or your body gets a little bit tense when he reaches over, right? And so it's by degrees. And then we land here. What you've done with your girlfriends, I would tell you, is 100% exact opposite. You know what both of you are right now? dreadfully lonely.
Yeah.
Dreadfully lonely. And that isolation begets isolation. And when you get isolated, your brain goes back to the old mechanisms that keep it safe. And for your husband, that is get away from me. And for you, it's whatever it happens to be. If you feel so unattractive and so sexy coming on to him, that also has ramifications about how he makes you feel. You see what I'm saying? You just get into this weird dance, and now we're off to the races. And you're both racing on different tracks, so you end up way far away. Okay? When's the last time y'all sat down and exhaled and said, okay, we had a plan. We had a 2-year plan. We've done it for a year and a quarter, and I don't know if we're going to make the rest of the plan. Can we alternate? Can we change something up? Can we reconsider? Can we fill in the blank? When's the last time y'all have sat down and said, I miss you. I miss your body on my body. I miss being with you. Right? When's the last time y'all have had that conversation?
Within the week. I mean, we have those conversations regularly.
Okay. And what is his response?
He agrees. I mean, we both feel what's more important than our relationship is that both of our daughters, who are both seniors in high school, their lives don't get disrupted.
Disagree. Totally disagree. You know why? Because their lives are completely disrupted because their parents are an anxious wreck right now.
Never looked at it that way before.
They are absorbing both of y'all's tension and both of your loneliness, which turns into, for many parents, turns into neediness, and your kids find themselves propping you guys up, which they can't do, and that turns into them saying stupid stuff like, I hate you, or get away from me, I don't want to talk to you, which they really do, but their bodies are saying, I can't carry this. It's this adult. They're disrupted. And so that ship has left the harbor. The question is, what can you provide them? The greatest gift you can give those two girls is a picture of what a healthy marriage looks like. And I'm not saying you have to live together. You're already in this thing. You're 200 days away, right? It's almost to the end here.
Right.
But 4 or 5 days out of a month isn't cutting it. It's just not working. And on top of it, I'm going to say something that I'm not certain of, okay? But I wonder, after a marriage, 3 kids, I wonder how much you are struggling with his childhood sexual abuse more than him.
Yeah, I think this is old news for him.
Yeah, it happened.
And it's something that I've just started struggling with.
Yes.
You're exactly right.
Why are you struggling with it?
Okay, this is why. I just realized it. When we have time together and he reaches over for me, all that goes through my head is, he's only doing this because he knows I need it.
That's bull crap, Shay. You know it, though.
He's not doing it because he wants me.
Why do you tell this? This has nothing to do with his child abuse. This has to do with you. Where did that story come from? That you're not beautiful. That when you come on to your husband and you just want to ravage out, like that you're a man and you're gross. Where does that story come from?
Probably.
No, hold on. Don't probably. You know exactly where it comes from, Shay. You know exactly where it comes from.
Okay. Well, I don't know if this is the right answer, but
there's no wrong answer, but you know where it comes from.
I had a great childhood. I was an only child for the majority of my life, and but looking back after I read your book, looking back on the reality, I was one of these people like, I had the perfect life. And looking back, I was like, wait a minute, I've never had a mother. For the first 13 years of my life, my mom, I always had to be the mother to my mom.
There you go.
My mom was very driven by her appearance and her sex drive. Everything was about her appearance. You know, she got a facelift at the age of 40. She left my father and I when I was 13 to move across the country with my dad's best friend. and just abandoned us. And,
So
now
listen,
that
do you hear that? Do you hear it though? For your, how that got turned into I had a great childhood is madness. It's madness. It's the stories we tell, right? It's how we get through the day. It's all good. But here's the deal. You've been carrying other adults your entire life. You've been somebody's mom since the day you were born. And when it comes to sex, you just want to be able to let go. And so you can blame him, his father, the evils of sexual abuse, which will rear its ugly head throughout your relationship. There's no question about that. But you have to take ownership of the story that when he reaches for you, it's not really, it's perfunctory. It's a job. It's not because he's all about you. Because you're not all about you. And that's why you can't get through Emily's book, because that book tells women to celebrate their bodies and how their bodies actually work and what sex in a rambunctious marriage can actually be like. And you don't believe it. Am I right?
Yeah, because you're right. Because I kind of got mad at the book.
Yes. Because that book, oh man.
And it's not just because of the zipper vagina.
Yeah, it's a terrible, I would not have done that cover. I don't know Emily. I've never met her. I've never talked to her in my life. I would be like, I see what you did there, right? So, yes. But listen, that's why you didn't like the book, because the book called you out. You are lonely as bloody hell, sister. And you are craving touch. And that is butting up against a little girl who has been told since you were 0 that you are not beautiful, you are not enough, and God help me if I turn into my mom.
Yeah.
And you don't deserve that, and your husband doesn't deserve that. And by the way, your daughter doesn't deserve that either. Is it possible that in an effort to not be like your mom, you turn the whole faucet off? And you're dying of thirst?
Yeah. I mean, I want to. And
okay, so here, I'm going to run through a couple of things here, okay? Jenna had let me know, she gave me a couple of sentences about this call before, so I made a couple of notes here. It's gone a different direction than I thought it was, but here's a couple of things I'm going to give you. It's just tactically, okay? Is that cool?
Yes, please.
Okay. First thing here is both of you are going to have to practice not disconnecting during sex. When I say disconnecting, your head starts going, he doesn't even want to be doing this. He doesn't even like this. I'm gross. I need to turn this way so he can't see me in this particular light. You got to stop that. You're going to have to quit, right?
Yes.
Okay. And he's going to have to practice when the shame demons come. And I've never been sexually abused by my father, right? But those men I've talked to, it sounds like the shame shadow is concrete. It's so heavy, right? That blanket of shame. He's going to have to practice not disconnecting, which also means both of you are going to find yourselves in the middle of sex and one of you is going to tap out and say, I got to stop. And then you're going to have to figure out what to do with that extra energy. And here's an idea. Well, I got to be careful how I say this. It may be, well, let's see here, that you come up with alternative ways to dispel the energy in their presence. Is that fair? And that gives somebody an opportunity to be in the sexual energy presence of their spouse and not feel like they have to participate and their bodies are taking over for them. What I'm saying is you're going to have to practice putting yourselves in awkward situations and you're going to have to keep going. And when your body starts to feel ugly, you're going to have to challenge that story. That's the only way through it. You cannot think your way through this. Does that sound scary? It should sound scary.
It doesn't sound scary, but it brings up this question.
Okay, what is the question?
I have this, I don't know specific details of his abuse, and this sounds so dumb when I'm saying it out loud, but I'm going to say it anyway. I feel like I need to know the details of his abuse so that I can avoid those things. Because I feel like because I don't know the details.
Don't take that from him.
And what does that mean? Don't take that. Like, just let him deal with that. Is that what you mean? Like, I shouldn't even be thinking about that.
He needs to tell you his needs. Do you think about his ex-wife when you're having sex with him?
No.
Then why would you think about his childhood? That's your hang-up. And he doesn't need you to protect him. You're not his mom. You've been your mom's mom. You've been your dad's mom. You're not his mom. You're his wife. And it may be a conversation about safety where you are honest with him and you say, I realize I have more hang-ups than you, and I'm sorry. I've made your story my story, and that's not fair. And I need you to tell me that if you're ever uncomfortable, you will say you're uncomfortable because you feel it when he's uncomfortable, or you perceive it that he's uncomfortable, and then that sends you off spinning, and you don't come back for days. And since y'all can't see each other, and you don't bump into each other, and you don't hug each other while you're and accidentally get junk on each other when you're brushing teeth or whatever, since you don't have those moments, it's just you alone making up stories. Is that fair?
Yes.
And so, hey, you'll let me know if I ever cross a line and you feel like your child self that comes out to protect you during sex comes back. You'll let me know. And he'll probably look at you and say, yes, I'll let you know. Now take your clothes off. That's probably what I was going to say, right?
That is so freeing. Like,
you're not his mom. You can't control it. You can't control it. He's got to be a grown-up and tell you, I need to stop. And then you got to have a plan for, okay, he told me to stop. It's not because I'm ugly. It's not because I'm a man. It's because his body's getting a little bit overwhelmed. So I'm going to take care of business right here. And we've already talked about this. Is that fair?
Yeah. Would it be fair now I'm a very structured, spreadsheet-oriented dork, and I live and die by spreadsheets. But would it be fair or ridiculous for us to together establish rules? Like,
absolutely,
every time we're together, we should.
That's practice, right? A good coach has practice outlined for before they go to practice. You can't just have a coach being like, oh, let's do shooting drills. Let's do free throw. You can't do that. The practice is working towards an end goal, right? That's why you have agendas before meetings. I will also tell you, you've got to make space inside. You can't have reckless and free and wild sex with your husband if it all comes out of a spreadsheet.
I know.
Right? And so, but you can have in a spreadsheet, we are gonna practice intimacy on these days. And I do have couples push back. They're like, man, if I start having to put sex on the calendar, it's not good anymore. That's stupid. That's Hollywood bullcrap. It's great. It's just different. And if you don't schedule it, it doesn't happen.
Together,
go ahead.
Yeah, when we lived together, we had that rule. Like, once every week, we each had to initiate once. And honestly, that was the best time of our marriage with that.
Yes. Okay, here, I'm going to give you, you may have heard this on a show, I think, or maybe I did at a live event. I was kind of kidding, and not really. I wasn't kidding, but it's not a product that exists. Okay, here's my recommendation to you. I'm going to teach you the secrets of the John Delony erotic envelope system. It doesn't really exist, but that's just what I call it. I want you to go to Walgreens and get 10 envelopes. It's going to cost you a grand total of 11 cents or something like that. I want you to give your husband 5 of these, give your husband 10 of these, and you take 5 and you take 10. And inside of them, I want you to take a scrap of paper and write down whatever you think, whatever you want. We're going to do this. We're going to try that. We're going to try this. And the commitment both of you have is we're going to randomly draw one. We're going to pull it out of the drawer once a week, once a month, once every other day. I don't care. Do it as much as you want. And we commit to doing whatever's on that card. And sometimes it's like French kissing. What in the world? That's it. That's what we're doing. We're going to hold hands and French kiss. You know what we're going to do? We're going to sit on the front porch and just hug. And he can get all bent out of shape. That's what was on the card. And then there may be another card where you're like, I don't know how that's physically possible. But we're willing to either A, go for it, or B, we're going to talk about it. And I've heard from couples all over, often the talking about it, the curiosity, not the, oh, gross, I'm not doing that. It's, okay, tell me about this. What is it about this that makes you be like, I want to try that? Or this sounds like it would be awesome. Any number, and be willing to give that a whirl. And now it's got structure. Now it's from the envelope. It's not this awkward. The awkwardness gets channeled into this third neutral object, right? Not us. And it gives us a way to practice. Gives us ways to enter into this uncomfortable space. But backing all the way out. Okay, as we wrap up this call, Shay. Number one, this distance is killing you. Y'all got to figure something else out. Whether you got to just keep driving a crummy car and fly on a weekend for rendezvous. Y'all got to meet halfway. I don't care what it is. Y'all got to figure out something with this time. The second thing is wrecking your marriage or starving your marriage is not helping your daughters. It's just not. Okay? It's not. I don't know what it looks like for y'all individually. We'd have to have a bunch more sessions together to figure that out, but it's not helping it. The third thing is you may have more hang up with his sexual past than he does, his abuse, his whatever. So you make a commitment. I'm not going to disconnect during sex, and ask him, make the commitment to not disconnect. And if you got to, we got to talk about it. The fourth thing is practice the recklessness, practice the laughter, practice the, all right, let's give this a whirl. And there's going to be disaster. When you practice, you miss shots, a lot of them, right? You throw a pass and it goes out off the wall or into the stands. That's called practice. And know that while we're practicing, it's not going to be because I'm an idiot or I'm unattractive, I'm not beautiful, etc. And my sister Shay, I love you and I'm so proud of you and you're being brave and courageous. Thank you for telling your story. It's time for you to stop being everybody's mom. And I think you would be well served to go sit with a counselor and say, I need to learn to love myself because I'm worth being loved. You're worth being loved, Shay.